Hi everyone, for today's review we'll be looking at a figure that was released probably 3 years ago now. So the reason that I wanted to review this figures is just to see how the line has, advanced or changed so far. I think right now is when the line is taking off, especially with the release of Zazabi. So I just wanted to review this figure real quick and see what has changed and I think this is one of the figures too that is really a mix of if you're into model kits as well or want a figure that it is not as big as the MG, but a little bit bigger than the high grade. So I think it's a good alternative, especially if you don't like building kits. But as you can see in the packaging, it's just a standard packaging. And let's open up the figure and see what accessories he comes with. As you can see, the figure is packed with great accessories. It's really surprising that I think, based on today's price point, I think if they would have included a weapon, it probably would have only been the sword. And that's something too with the price point. I think back then they were $20. Now they're averaging about 25 or 26, depending where you're getting from. But yeah, I'm glad that at least this figure was released at the time. And I think this Gundam has different versions too. So I'm sure that once they release the other versions, they'll probably include new weapons too. That way you can switch them if you wanted to. But let's take the figure out of the plastic and see and take a closer look at it. So they did a really great job, I think, on the sculpting here. I think the paint is, they did very minimal painting, but I mean, the figure is almost all white, so it's the plastic is not really white. It's more of a really light gray. But as you can tell, the figure shines on the detail, and it's a mix of hard plastic too. So it's great. The shoulders and everything. I think this is primarily hard plastic, which is, I think it's great to do mecha on hard plastic versus the plastic that most Marvel Legends figures are made of. So that is always great when Bandai does this. I think that's a change too from the old MSIS line, Mobile Suit in Action line. I think most of them were made of that soft plastic, but this one they really did a great job. And I think even its V fin is made of that plastic too, so it looks great. So we won't be getting those those V fins that are folding in all crazy directions. And as for articulation, it does have shoulder articulation. I think the shoulder armor is able to pop off too. So really great range of motion too. Double elbow articulation, just wrist articulation, no hand articulation. Just understandable. The neck is on a ball joint. I think only the top has articulation at the bottom. And over here it does have ab articulation too. Mimic some of the pistons the mobile suit is supposed to have. And also, before I forget, we can attach the back skirt armor. Shouldn't be that difficult. So here's the connection. Or maybe it is gonna be a little bit difficult. Okay, there we go. Then since the figure has been in packaging, probably the plastic has tightened up over the years. So now for its backpack. So here's the connections as well. I think it goes this way, if I remember. Let me see if you're able to open the backpack. Because I know in the model kits, usually you remove some parts to attach the weapon. I guess on this one you don't, so I think it is a solid piece. I'm looking for any attachment that can be removed, but doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's one solid piece. So back on the articulation, the skirt is individually articulated. The side skirts as well. And for the leg articulation, seems to be on a ball joint for the upper thighs. Double knee articulation. Ankle articulation. And let me see if the foot rotates. No, I don't think so. No toe articulation. Let me see if the back foot has articulation. No, seems like it's only one piece. Let me attach the shoulder armor back in place. So let's switch out the hands to attach the weapons to. So switching out the hands should be pretty easy. It's just a standard connection for most figures. So here's a closer look at the sword. As you can see, gray sculpting done on it. It's just one solid piece, one color. Let me see. I think the sword is gonna go on this hand, on the open fist hand, or maybe it's not open. I think it's a little bit open. I think it's better to remove it and attach it here. Yeah, so it may be helpful to heat up the hands that is gonna hold the sword. There we go. Now for the other weapon, you gotta connect these two pieces together and this other piece. And I think over here you either connect, it can hold it from here or from the middle. Just push it down a little bit so it can get a better grip. So there it is. So as you can see, it has really good joints. It can hold its weapons pretty well. Especially if you just want a simple figure that you just want to display, or not a big fan of the size either of the HG, or you don't want to get into building the MG version, which I know right now is kind of pricey. But yeah, this one is I feel it's a great display piece. And if you collect other collectibles, so here's just a size comparison next to Lightning Collection Power Ranger. So he's around what is it, 6-inch collectible size. And if you collect Transformers, he stands around like a Voyager size. As you can see, he's bigger than Kingdom Optimus Primal, but I think Optimus Prime is supposed to be a little bit shorter than the standard Voyager. But just so you can get a good sense of the size. But yeah, I recommend this figure if you're getting into Gundam, especially right now. I know that the robot spirits, or the depending on which kit you may get, it's kind of it may be out of everybody's price range right now. But if you just want this as a display piece, or just start collecting Gundam, I highly recommend it. And let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.